You're listening to program notes for the Florida Orchestra's Huff Family Foundation Masterworks series. In this episode, I will be talking about Brian Raphael Nabors Pulse, Max Bruch's Violin Concerto No. 1, and Sergei Prokofiev's Symphony No. 5, so you can dive deeper into the music anytime, anywhere. These audio program notes are authored by Kurt Loft, a local writer who has written about the arts in the Tampa Bay area for more than 40 years. You can find his full transcriptions at floridaorchestra.org. All right, let's dive in. Brian Raphael Nabors, born 1991. Pulse, performance duration, approximately 12 minutes. What to listen for in this piece? The composer creates an exotic, shimmering atmosphere to suggest our relationship with the rhythms of the natural world. With Pulse, the Florida Orchestra offers its first ever performance of a work by the American composer Brian Raphael Nabors, whose music has been described as a fusion of homegrown soundscapes with a contemporary edge. When not creating new works for orchestras around the United States, he teaches composition at Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge. Completed in 2019, Pulse serves as the first in a musical triptych, followed by Onward and Upon Daybreak, which together explore themes of humanity, nature, and the cosmos. The first relies on a sustained ostinato tempo to keep listeners focused, but guessing where the music might go. Pulse is a realization of rhythm in the universe, Nabors said. All the different facets of life seem to be alive through a unified harmony and rhythm, a pulse. So listen for that as you take stock of all the sounds coming at you. He views Pulse as a contemplation of daily life, combined with the energy of nature in all its forms. The universe seems to have this natural rhythm to it, he said. It's as if every living thing we are aware and unaware of is being held together by a mysterious, resolute force. Pulse is an episodic rhapsody that explores several phases and colorful variants of rhythm, all held together by an unwavering pulse. Each episode is meant to symbolize a different scenario of life for the listener, be it a buzzing modern metropolis, a deep wilderness abundant with animals, or the scenic, endless abyss of the ocean. All of these worlds and their philosophical meanings are then brought together in a contemplative theme of the unification, in the strings that symbolizes our deep connection as living beings to everything within, over, under, and around us. Max Bruch, 1838 to 1920. Violin Concerto No. 1 in G minor. Performance duration, approximately 24 minutes. What to listen for in this piece? Note how the short first movement is less a grand statement than a prelude to the famous adagio that follows. The German composer Max Bruch left a rich library of works, but he lived and died under the shadow of one piece, his Violin Concerto in G minor. Despite 3 symphonies, 3 operas, 8 concertos, choral works, chamber music, and many fine songs, Bruch's output was inconsistent, and his place in music history diminished as a result of his conscious detachment from progressive musical ideas. An ultra-conservative who resisted change, He lacked the interest to push past convention, and many of his works sounded dated at their premieres. He was out of step with the new paths in music and art, and his style certainly ran against the grain of Wagner, Debussy, Mahler, and even Brahms, whom he outlived by nearly a quarter century. But this is not an issue when listening to the first of his 3 violin concertos, which ranks among those of Mendelssohn, Beethoven, Tchaikovsky, and Brahms, in status and appearance on playbills around the world. The work is Bruch's best known by virtue of its unabashed romanticism, its soaring tunefulness and lush harmonic language. It is, by anyone's standard, an old-fashioned fiddle concerto. Bruch had trouble writing the work through 1866, and he wasn't completely happy with it after its first performance in April of that year. So, with the help of the celebrated violinist Joseph Joachim, he revised the work, and his friend performed the new version in the winter of 1868. Its 3-movement layout is unusual in that the opening moves freely into the second movement. The core of the concerto is this tender adagio, one of the most hypnotic moments in the literature, with its bewitching phrases for the violin and writing that encourages spontaneity between soloist and the supporting cast. The adagio is a model of poise that never spills over into romantic excess. The finale features a violin theme in double stops as the orchestra expands and embraces the soloist in a warm blanket of sound. Bruch provided no cadenzas for any of the movements, believing the concerto's virtuosity was inherent in its obvious splendor. Sergei Prokofiev, 1891 to 1953, Symphony No. 5 in B-flat major, Opus 100. Performance duration, approximately 46 minutes. What to listen for in this piece? As contrast to much of this epic and tumultuous symphony, Prokofiev provides comic relief in the carnival-like themes of the finale. Prokofiev grew up in the midst of turmoil in his native Russia. Like his contemporary Shostakovich, his musical thinking evolved alongside social upheaval and propaganda, which simultaneously stirred and stifled his creativity. By coincidence, Prokofiev died the same day as Stalin, on March 5, 1953, and it would have been interesting to see what might have appeared had he lived for another decade in Russia, free of a dictator's forced ideology. Prokofiev was a prodigy and enfant terrible. He was proficient at the piano by the age of 6 and composed full-scale pieces 3 years later. He was a stubborn, intelligent, obstinate, and cocky young man of undeniable talent, notes Harold Schonberg in his Lives of the Great Composers. His head was set on a pipe-stem neck. He had pink skin that would turn red when he was in a rage, piercing blue eyes, and thick, protruding lips. He disturbed everybody. Even as a student, he was alienating his superiors with his sharp judgments on their music or teaching methods. Prokofiev entered the St. Petersburg Music Conservatory armed with a thick folder of original compositions and an ego to match. Even under strict Soviet censorship of the arts, he became one of the most original musical minds of the day. No matter what conventional form he delved into, string quartet, concerto, symphony, opera, his work stood out as distinctive and skillfully crafted, adorned with an acerbic, rhythmically precise bite. Certainly, this describes the Symphony No. 5, his 100th published work, written in 1944 in a secluded Soviet rest home where important musicians and artists took periodic refuge during the war. While there, Prokofiev rubbed elbows with Shostakovich, Glier, Kabalevsky, and Khachaturian. Optimistic in spirit, the symphony found favor with the censors, who likened it to a hymn of freedom against the Nazis. Essentially a concerto for orchestra in its virtuosity, the score squeezes every ounce of sound from the performers. It quickly became a favorite of Russian audiences, and rather than condemning it as Prokofiev expected, Stalin offered an approving nod. More importantly, the work proved that Prokofiev could master large-scale forms, especially in light of the pastiches of his earlier symphonies. The music opens with a pair of serious, urgent themes in sonata form that slowly evolve through a spacious-sounding orchestra. The second movement, while marked as an allegro, is really a scherzo and serves as the heartbeat of the entire symphony, with its demonic rhythms and satirical percussion. The following adagio is one of Prokofiev's exalted moments, comparable to the love music he wrote in Romeo and Juliet. The finale is a musical carnival, full of billowing horns and cloying strings that quote themes heard in the opening movement. Note how the music builds to a frenzy before being stripped down to a string quartet intentionally playing wrong notes. Thank you for listening to Sound Waves with the Florida Orchestra. Enjoy the concert.